Hidden deep in Tasmania's remote west coast lies buried the story of a legend. One that's been lost to time, tucked away in the wilderness, buried beneath the moss and river stones. As part of my recent series of videos researching Tasmania's Rocky River goldfield, I shared several images from an 1895 newspaper article. But there were two images I held back, two pieces I wasn't quite ready to share. They depicted a man named Thomas McGrath, better known on the west coast as Taranaki. And the article reads, "When the river and creeks are low, several old miners make a very good living by fossicking. Among these is Thomas McGrath, known as Taranaki, the West Coast poet. He has lived here for over 18 years. He has a canoe 20 foot long and acts as a carrier between Rocky River and Corinna, 10 miles distant. He is as much at home in the water as on the land." And the picture hints Taranaki's haunt, a secluded stretch of river where he worked his claim, far below the headline-making discoveries of the Rocky River. And it wasn't until reading an article from nearly 100 years ago that I was able to pinpoint where Taranaki's workings were. The company, Holdfast, were considering the potential of processing the terraces of ancient river gravels which contained a bottom layer of gold. They reported later on, small workings completed by Taranaki many years ago occur on the lower terrace. In this video, I set out to rediscover Taranaki's flat. I'll trek through thick, untracked bush, then raft the wild, white river, following the same watercourse Taranaki once paddled over a century ago. Here, in this stunning location, I find more than just old diggings. Ancient mining terraces and rusted machinery still stand as echoes of a forgotten gold rush, but I soon realised there's much more history to be rediscovered here than I ever imagined. Man, this place, it just keeps on giving up the amazing surprises. I am totally blown away by this. So I hope you guys have got your adventure boots on, because we're in for a pretty action-packed 2 days, I think. Done a lot of research on this spot. Haven't found a heap out about Taranaki, but just a few whispers here and there, and it's enough to paint the picture of a man. A legend, I should say. So I'm pretty excited to check out this Taranaki Flats. We'll be spending the night down there because it's the shortest day of the year today. June the 21st, and it's already 12 o'clock. So I won't imagine we'll have much more than an hour or two once we actually get to the flats to set up camp. But then we've got all tomorrow morning to explore the area and try to piece together some of this infamous Taranaki's haunt. So it should be pretty awesome. We've got some good weather. We've got 2 days of fine weather. And we're gonna make the most of it. We're gonna make it happen. See what we can uncover. So I'm guessing this four-wheel drive track was put in the 80s or 90s. It's well and truly overgrown now. But it's gonna give us access to the big, steep bank. Got a couple 100-meter drop in from there. And that's going to be all off track. If we can crack onto some mature rainforest, we'll be laughing. Well, the road has stopped and we're now pushing through Bowra. Good thing I didn't bring the car, hey? Just coming across our first rainforest species. We've got the celery top here, and then we've also got some man ferns down there. So the four-wheel drive track's finished as far as I can go. It's time to commit to a spur. This is much more like it. We are nice and open. says it's not going to give it up that easy though. We're back into some bad scrub. Just over there. After trekking a few kilometres through forest, we finally reached the river. It was now time to utilise our second mode of transport, the raft. From here we'd need to travel downstream to begin searching for Taranaki's flat. Alright, all aboard the Taranaki Express. It's on, baby. The time has come. Wow, look at that magic gorge. Straight down here. That'll be it right there. Wow. This is magic. So I'm not tying the raft up in case the water comes up overnight. It's because Tassie devils will chew anything that's low bearing to the ground. Oh, I've been waiting for this for a couple of months now. Taranaki's flat. Let's go explore it. Wow, amazing wall of ferns. This little gully here potentially could be one of the old workings. Might be a bit hectic with the backpack. Oh yeah, look at that. Straight on to some rock stackings. No way. Oh, what? There's a heap of machinery here. Whoa. Mad. So we've got some fluming. Look at all this stuff here. So you can see all of the rocks here. This is all ancient riverbed. So Taranaki's flat was an ancient riverbed. And Taranaki realized that there was gold on the ancient riverbed. So he was scratching away and working here for many years. And then the big guns came in the 30s and hydraulically sluiced the same terrace. You can can see it right here. This is just above where I parked my boat. Oh man, look at all this stuff. There's pipework everywhere. And heaps of faces. These walls have all been blasted by heavy water pressure. Oh, this is crazy. I can't believe I just walked straight onto it. So they'd be blasting this big bank, this big reserve of gravels, and sending it down here through these little channels into either a sluice or some other way of processing it. But yeah, it's a big pit. This is a big quarry. I was just looking at this pipe here and then I noticed underneath it, can you see that? The pickaxe head. Look at that. That's a ripper. It's pretty preserved because, well, I guess because it was sitting underneath that. Wow. Damn. This spot's crazy. I've got to take a lot of photographs here because this is pretty important. I've never seen anyone document this place. And I've read a lot of articles. The thing that I find so crazy about this place is that it's a real network. And you can only tell like 10% of what's here. The amount of effort that's gone into building and shaping these little channels. Imagine all the stuff that is just sitting here that you can't see. Like that pickaxe head. That was a fluke to see that. That was just lucky. But this here, these rocks are sitting on timber. So that's probably, could be a celery top pine. And quartz boulders. This is so cool. And I was not expecting to find this much stuff here. So it looks like an old pump of some sort. They must have been bringing the water up from this pipe in here that runs basically straight down to the river into the pump and then generating excess pressure to blast the walls. It's pretty hard to see on film, but I'm standing up here on a high ledge. And then it's cut out all the way along there and then across there. It's probably about 2.5, 3 meters high, this face. And then all of that material has been worked and sent down the race, probably through a sluice. There's just mullock heaps everywhere. They've created these big piles of stones. So they would have all been cleaned and thrown up on the hill here, and all the small stuff was sent down. There's another big rock wall here that runs all the way across. This has all been hand stacked. Wow, what an awesome place. Honestly, I had no idea it was going to be this complex in here. Big network. Well, this was really cool. I'm glad that I came across this. But we haven't got many hours in the day, so I'm going to continue heading around to the south side of the flat and keep my eyes peeled for somewhere to set up camp tonight. Little did I know that in just a few more steps, I was about to learn a lot more about this flat than I'd ever envisioned. I'm kind of in the middle of Taranaki's flat, right? And I was traversing, going from the northern side to the south. That's my goal. But I came across this little race here, which I thought was super weird because, as far as I'm aware, there weren't any workings in the middle of the island. And then I saw this log and I thought, oh yeah, that's been cut. But hang on, is that a hewn pine? I could have sworn that is a hewn, and a decent one too. Then you've got this log here laying down with that cut through it. Alright, and here's where things get really interesting. I thought, okay, this is bizarre, I'll just have a look around this area. So I walked through here, and sure enough, what do I spot but none other than a hewn pine. I had no idea that they were this far up the White River. I don't think there's any recording of hewens being this far up the White. The Pieman River is kind of widely accepted as one of the most northern reaches of hewen. Yet here I am walking through a graveyard of the heads of perfectly good large hewn pine. Look. This is mad. Another stump here. Native only to the remote rainforests of Western Tasmania, hewn pine is one of Tasmania's most iconic and precious trees. This slow-growing conifer can live for over 3,000 years, making it one of the oldest living organisms on Earth. Prized for its rich golden hue and high natural oil content, hewn pine timber is incredibly durable, water-resistant, and resistant to rot. Early European settlers quickly recognised its value, using it extensively for boat building, especially for the hulls of ships. Today, hewn pine is protected, with harvesting limited to salvaged or fallen trees. It remains a treasured material for fine furniture, woodcraft and instrument making, a symbol of Tasmania's unique natural heritage and delicate balance between use and conservation. Man, this place, it just keeps on giving up the amazing surprises. I'm totally blown away by this. Like I love walking through hewn pine forests. There's a little one there. Oh, that's a hewn. You can see the leaves here. There's little leaves. It's about the same size as the one on Stannard's grave. Hewn. Here's a slightly bigger one. Look how complicated this root system is. So it's grown up. Oh, I don't even know where to begin on that. So that one log there on the ground has sprouted all of these. I'm blowing out. It's just so weird that there's humans here. Look at this. That's a premium bit of human. Somebody put in so much work to fall a tree to get that piece. Because they only took the first few meters of the tree and then it started to branch out and they'd get a little chaotic. So this was the prime bit just above the stump. Oh, I don't think I'm going to find a better camp. We've got the river view. It's not flat, but it'll do. It's either a creek down there or a little race from the workings. Oh yeah, there's a trench down there. Leads up here. All of these rocks here, these have all been stacked here. Look at all the rocks. This whole mountain of rocks were put here by men. This is crazy. You see the face over there as it drops down? These are so much bigger than the northern face. Wow. It's just a cliff. You can really step inside this one. It's huge. It's a full-on mine. Look at some of the boulders they were getting. There's no machinery on this one that I can see. Oh, look at that. Do you see that there? Found a water race. A water race that must lead from the creek. Okay, now we're cooking. So this just obviously just continues going up the creek. So yeah, they tapped the creek for an infinite water supply to do their work on the southern face. I didn't know about that. I haven't read anything about a water race. Okay, I think we head back now towards camp and we'll get set up because it's going to be getting dark in about an hour. So pretty in here. Sometimes you just gotta stop and take in the small stuff. Like that little guy right there. The star of the show. Boop. So I'm just having a quick detect here at this flat, which is where I left my bag before, because it's kind of the only flat I've really seen that could have been a hut site. And I think I've got a target in there. Well, that's it right there. Not sure what to make of that. Getting a solid target in under that tree there. It's quite interesting. Right in here. That could be a lost jar full of gold. Buried. Oh, holy crap. It's a bottle of mercury. Look at it. I've just knocked it out. I'll get the phone. Wow. You can see the bottle there. And then that's, I believe that's mercury. It looks like it. I've never dealt with mercury, but I am aware that you can't breathe it in. So I'm going to be super cautious about that. That is crazy. I can't believe I found that with a metal detector, but I mean, it's mercury, so man, I hope I didn't get any on me. Is it bad to get on your skin? Oh damn, that's pretty cool. It's got like a little spout on it. Look at that cool little spout on it for pouring. Okay, I think I better put the metal detector away before someone gets hurt. It's time to set up camp. This here looks pretty good. So I'm going to be testing out a new tent tonight. So I put out a post a while back about asking for recommendations for a new tent. The one that I had was only 3 season. I'd had it for 4 years or something, and it was wearing thin. The zipper was busted. It was time to upgrade. And I got a lot of good feedback, thanks to everybody who sent me in their recommendations. But man, they were all expensive. There's no way I could afford spending thousands of dollars on just a tent. And I came across this company called Bushbuck from New Zealand, who had a 4-season tent for about $600 or $700. And I thought, that's perfect. It's lightweight, looks roomy. It's got a door on each side. So I actually reached out to them and asked if they'd be interested in working with the channel. And they said, sure. We'll send you the tent and some gear. So thanks so much to Bushbuck for hooking me up. Going to be rocking this thing into some pretty incredible places in the future. So what's the plan for tomorrow then? Well, I did bring a gold pan. I've got the detector. Can do some more detecting. Check out more sites. Just walk around. It's so nice walking around the forest, especially when there's humans about. It's a type of forest where you find things, you know, because it's an old forest. Oh, there goes the sat phone. Because it's an old forest and it's not, you know, covered in regrowth and new vegetation. You can see things. You can see the history and the past. It's all visible because it's the same stuff as when they were here. So it's really cool in that regard. So yeah, I think tomorrow I'll just keep looking around, explore, and then head home. There's a lot of rain coming the day after tomorrow. So I'll be out of here by then. The new type of bird, I think. I don't recognize it. Do you know what it is? So we've got camp pretty well packed up. I think it'd be pretty silly if I didn't at least do a couple of gold prospects. I've got the shovel and the pan. So we'll go and dig a couple of little spots. The only issue is I don't really know where I'm going to pan off because there's not a lot of water. So I guess when you think about it, these little channels that they ran, the little races, anything that's redeposited in them through little floods and a lot of rain would have put gold back into it. So I'll try, quite simply, just one of these little spots here. There's some decent looking gravels. Yeah, that's good stuff there. There's some pretty heavy little stones in there as well. This could be super rich, in all honesty. Could be bloody Speck City. There's the bigger piece, and there's another little bit in there.
Small one. I can't believe that mound. I'm gonna put this in perspective here. I'll sit you guys over there. I'll go down here. Now, all of these stones here have come out of the big pit behind it. And as you can see, this is just a mountain of overburden all the way up to the top. But once you get to the top of it, it doesn't stop there. You can see it goes all the way across here. You can see the water race, only just on camera, comes down here. It's a divot in the ground. And then it sweeps around here, follows this course here, and then comes straight to the back of where they were working. You can see that little depression there. This one here that you can see, this gutter, is the most recent one because they'd worked up to here. When this was all filled in with gravels, they had a different gutter, and it would have been that one there. And another one here. And I'm sure if I continue to go along, there'd be more of these gutters. Now we're doing something with the hewing. You can see that this log here has had a section cut out of it, but it's also been cut on an angle like that, as if to make a table or something out of the circle, a wider circle. And yeah, then there's just offcuts here as well. So this section up here behind the mine is, in a way, it's a bit of a sawmill. As I sauntered around the old cuttings, I couldn't help but wonder how they came to be. Were they remnants from the mining days of the 1930s? Or were they discarded much earlier by the first gangs of piners who worked the Pieman River in the 1870s? Or could it be they're clues from Taranaki's time here? I wondered if his canoe was crafted from one of these very trees. It must have been his most treasured possession, for when he declared bankruptcy in 1904, his only assets were a quarter share in the Long Plains reward claim and one Maori canoe. Wow, look at this big monster stump. That's a huge hewing stump. You can see the twist in it. Talk about a piece of history. That thing would be 2,000 years old. It'd be old as Christ. So it is nearly lunchtime now, and I have got a pretty big trip back to the car and then back home. So I'll leave you with a poem from the man himself, Thomas McGrath, aka Taranaki. Before I recite one of Taranaki's poems, Farewell to Australia, it would not be out of place to put the last of my Taranaki cards on the table, that being his death notice from 1917. This will be now all I've been able to find out of the man, and I hope that by sharing these next two pieces we can learn a few more things of this character. Wednesday the 5th of September 1917. Death of a pioneer. There passed away at the Zine District Hospital yesterday one of the Legion that never was listed.
in the person of Mr. Thomas McGrath. For some time past, Taranaki, by which sobriquet he was familiarly known to all West Coasters, and indeed throughout the state, had been in failing health, and although he had heard the bush calling to him to come back, he lacked the bodily energy to gratify the yearning of his stout heart and the desire to again penetrate the yet unexplored forests of the West, to be alone and commune with nature. And so he remained in Zeehan, rather secluded in his residence off Hurst Street, until his condition forced him to seek medical advice, and he entered the institution some 2 months ago. Everybody knew Taranaki, but few indeed knew anything about him. He was always reticent regarding his past history, his people, his age, and so it is that in passing there has gone with him all details concerning himself and his Australian life. He was a native of Ireland, where it is understood some near relations survive him. He first landed in New South Wales, subsequently going to Castlemaine in the gold mining days. From there he went to New Zealand, still suffering from the gold fever, and it was in the Dominion that he won himself the title of Taranaki. He next landed in Tasmania on the east coast, and later was among the early pioneers on Long's Plains in the Pieman district. From then on he was constantly associated with the various West Coast mining fields at Waratah, Heemskirk, Lyle and Zeehan. He was kind-hearted to a fault, had opinions of his own, and was never afraid to express them. He was fond of contributing to the press, and wrote several verses, the best of which was Taranaki's Dream. His most intimate friends consider his age was somewhere in the vicinity of 80. His funeral will leave the hospital at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the cemetery. One week later, in memory of the late pioneer, the Zeehan and Dundes Herald published Taranaki's poem, A Farewell to Australia. I donned the silk in Waggantarn when I was a little lad. To see the turf in foreign lands, I said goodbye to Dad. To my Teutonic blue-eyed lass in tears, I said goodbye, till on the sporting fields of fame my fortune I would try. I landed in Port Phillip many, many years ago, when the Flying Buck and Barrel and Fishhook ran the show. At Kirk's Bazaar I purchased a grand St Albans nag that shot off like an arrow for the fall of Watson's flag. I battled through Victoria and crossed to New South Wales, where oft at times I was loudly cheered as I bounded over the rails. I met the Barb at Randwick, you'd agree with me I'm sure. To defeat that dark-skinned demon it would take carbine or malure. I next appeared on downgrade at bike or motor speed, till me and wall-eyed Warrigal could scarcely get a feed. When Connor, kind-hearted Roderick, he took me by the hand, saying cross the straits with me, my boy, on to Van Diemen's Land, where I met Raby, Powell and Agnew, Field, Keating and McDoyle, and other worthy gentlemen and generous sons of toil. And those charming queens of nature, in splendour they did ride, a hunting of the ruined deer round the vale of Malahide. Our special meet at Agnew I never shall forget. The storm swept the lofty peaks, so bitter and so wet. Griffin, Clark and Gryneen were foremost on the ruck, as the hound's loud cry resounded the starting of the buck. There was Donald, Campbell, Urquhart, King, O'Malley and JJ, with Armstrong and Brumby so prominent on the fray. And stride for stride on the mountainside over the wild cattle track, rode Kennedy on Kaiser and Borthwell on Blackjack. McLennan on Starlight, he made the pace with me. We rattle over the Dire Base, to death or victory. We reached the Heemskirk River, it was roaring down bank high. I gave him his head and then I said, my life on you old boy. I scorn to boast of valour or the races that I've won. I'll quote my last performance on the old Scotia's Sun. It was at the Silver City upon the course at Zeehan, where I met a worthy rival to represent the green. It was Law, the Elwick champion, with one he did a lie, till the judge said, it's a dead heat twixt Doctor and Rob Roy. Alas for those who have passed away since those happy sporting days, when Whitelaw nobly played his part with the genial Johnny Chase. To all my fellow sportsmen I now extend my hand, for I am resolved to see once more my own dear fatherland. And to Tasman's lovely daughters I wave my fond adieu, who'll never see my colours more, Australia's bonny blue. To my native Pomerania, across the seas I go, no more I'll drive a pack horse from the store for old Munro.